Hello, everyone. Namaste to everyone watching around the world, and namaste, Rohit, to you as well, my friend. I would just give a very brief introduction for our audience. I just want to thank everyone for watching or listening around the world. I'm Hartery back with you today with another episode of Simply Inspired. This is episode 443, and today I will be talking with Mr. Rohit Kumar, an esteemed yogi and teacher who has helped and touched the lives of many people around the world, deeply respected in his field. And I'm very, very honored and blessed to share time with this man today, and of course, to bring him to you, the viewers. Today, we will be finding out some aspects of Rohit's own journey as a spiritual teacher and practitioner and what inspired him to follow that path. But we will also talk about some of the benefits of yoga, meditation, breathing, spirituality in general for you, the viewers and listeners as well. And I hope that you will gain some tips and some techniques from this that will help you in your daily lives. So, Rohit, my friend, I hope I'm saying your name the right way, by the way, but thank you very much for joining. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Liam.
It is an absolute joy to be here. And as I mentioned just now, I would like to actually begin with your own spiritual journey, please, in terms of where all of this started for you when we go back to perhaps your early years, when you first started having spiritual experiences, and what really inspired you to follow the spiritual path. Let's start there, please. Thank you.
I was born in a small village that is in the northeastern part of this country called Bharat. We call it India also, but I choose to call Bharat because it's an ancient word, ancient name for the country. So I will try to use the word Bharat throughout my interview. And the river, and then my village is on the bank of a very holy river called Ganga. So in my village, people are, I think in general, if you go to Indian villages, it's mostly people are religious minded. So little bit orientation, I think every child has. So I am not an exception, but I won't say myself an exceptional child. Making yoga a part of your life and call it like a spiritual life, that is a little bit different, which we do not see uh, in most of us. So I think I had from my early childhood slight orientation towards like I would think because of my family circumstances, I had a lot of time when I was myself. So I had thoughtful ideas developing like in the evening when I was on the roof, I would look at the stars and think about it. Is there something over there? Or it is just like not like a scientist. I would reflect on there must be something, otherwise, why would there be light? And I would have some random thoughts. I don't think I will die. I still remember I was in my aunt's roof and something happened in some part of the village and which caused death for some people. I said, I won't die even if I am shot. I don't know why these things were in my head bumping, but I used to have this kind of thought randomly happening. And there are something personal like we do not share publicly about it. Other than that, I believe my early childhood and also young age had a lot of ups and downs. Means like difficult circumstances in family, financially, on the body level. There were a lot of ups and downs going on. They are two personal things. And I was perceiving life from one point of angle that is life only full with suffering. This was like a kind of thought which Buddha used to have, Buddha. He also saw life as suffering. So I didn't see life as full suffering, but I was thinking why there are so much of problems in people's life. Somebody is sick, somebody has financial difficulties, somebody has problems with the family members. So as a child, I would see these things, not like a child, but like a prudent somebody, but I don't didn't know how to handle it. So when I study later, study of yoga, these thoughts are connected to the principles of yoga. When you see life, cause of life, and reflect on these things, it's a kind of background. So I had from early childhood, and in course of time, like if some in yoga we say you have a thought, that thought overpowers you, and the things in the external world begin to manifest in the same way. So I believe these early thoughts of my life begin to manifest things how I was destined to go. I would say simply in this way. But then there are too many personal experiences which I rarely don't share because in a spiritual life there is a restriction to make things publicly until there is an immediate need for someone's growth. Okay, so I would say in few words like this.
Absolutely. I respect that completely, my friend. Of course, I do. And every question that I ask here today has a purpose behind it because all I'm trying to do with this is to make the spiritual path relatable to people because there's many people out there who don't really know which path to follow, but they
Mhm.
feel something, they feel drawn to
Yeah,
something, as you were saying. Maybe they have these kinds of thoughts too. So hearing
yeah,
that from you, it connects with people very deeply, I think.
yeah,
And in terms of your teachers and in terms of who taught you, I would like to discuss this briefly as well, with also full respect of, I'm not sure how
yeah,
much you can say.
yeah,
It's okay, it's okay.
yeah,
But for the
yeah,
same reason, just to connect with people so
yeah,
they feel how you found your path and be inspired
yeah,
to find theirs as well. Okay?
yeah. I will definitely share what I am able to share, but what I am supposed to share. And what I don't say is how I have felt inside of me, what visions I had, what dreams I had, or any spiritual experience I had. These things I don't share, but definitely events I will share. I was in a school, like first time I was in a school. I met a teacher of yoga who were teaching for children. First time. It was the first, a conscious attendance in a class where there was a trained monk who came to teach. I think it was one or two sessions. I was not interested very much, but I was thinking what he was doing. L- And my friends were enjoying laughing, playing like a small kids. But I was thinking about it, what actually he wanted to do with us. This is the first interaction I had in a school somewhere. Before that, in my village, I used to see some people coming to my house for begging, like holy people, they go for beggings. So I still remember one holy man. He used to come. His appearance was scary for me, and all women in the house they would surround him. And he had a strange magic. What he would do very surprisingly, he would take some piece of mud, clay, and and he would rub in someone's hand or palm, and the clay would leave a very distinct smell for a couple of hours. I still remember, although he was scary for me, but I would go close to him just to get the aroma. And I would think, how does he do it? It's not simple. This was in my childhood. When I was thinking about all these things, I made or there is a small kind of small place of yoga in my city. There I went for some times, and literally as in like eventful stage of life, I would tell you. In 1999, randomly I was taken to a school of yoga. It's a world famous school of yoga. It's called Bihar School of Yoga. It's world famous. It's in Bihar, but in a small city called Munger. So I was taken there with my family members, and there I got initiation by a monk who was the then president of the ashram, and now he is still alive. His name is Swami Niranjananda Saraswati. He is like a world famous. So from him I got initiation. It was a kind of in yoga, like in a spiritual life, we have initiation. It's a kind of event of life that I had. After that, I think I met couple of more monks, holy people. I went to Nepal. Also, I spent some time over there with some yogi, and I began to take interest. But the most influential part of my life was when I studied lectures of Swami Vivekananda. He was a great yogi who traveled to America. Somehow I came across his literatures, and that changed. Like, I think there was something hidden, and his speeches gave me a kind of strong wind, and that changed the whole. Like, I was able to make decisions about my life, that something this I have to do. So there are so many events which are connected. Couple of them I have shared, but in if you ask me more consciously, when I went through Vivekananda's words, that like it changed, it founded, and I knew my life was not for uh, going to the course of life which my friends had taken. And one more thing I tell you, in my area, it is difficult to have jobs, employments. Like, my province is the had the worst employment ratio. It's like a land of unemployment. And then everybody has a dream to get jobs in the government sectors. I never had this inspiration, never ever even I thought about it. I didn't know. My friend said, I said, look, I study for study's sake. My study is not meant to get me a job. This I would tell them when I was 15 years, 14 years, although my financial situation was worse than uh, I think all of my friends. Still, I didn't have this thought to go there. So I think I was meant to follow another path. Now all my friends, when I go home, we meet, we talk together, and we have these discussions of the past also. How we would talk about different things and how I went somewhere else.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful description, my friend. I must say, wonderful description. And I appreciate you sharing it very, very
Thank you.
much with us today. As I mentioned at the beginning, I did have a few of those questions about your life. And I think that people will be curious because now you help so many people, you touch so many lives, and of course, you help people to transform. And before we go into the yogic topics more deeply, that is my last point, actually, is I know that when you do this, it is service, it is egolessness, selflessness, and so on. But
Mm.
still, you are helping people to transform, to be happier, to be healthier, to be more fulfilled human beings in this way. How do you feel when you see somebody change from the teachings that you bestow upon them? I know that it's not just you, it's obviously your lineage as well, and the people who taught you continuing. But I am curious because people look at it very much from sometimes from the point of view of the student and how they have changed. But when you look at it from the point of view of the teacher and how you feel when people develop under your care, under your tuition, I'm not sure how you look at that, how you frame that specifically, but let's just say under your teaching, how do you feel when you see people develop in this way and how when you touch a person's life in a positive way? Because that's a beautiful thing to do with your life, I must say.
I tell you honestly,
Mm,
I don't think about it. Honestly, I believe when people approach me, most of my experiences are that they have problems.
mm,
And when I hear about their problems, I relate them to myself also. That I was in problem, I still have problems because I'm not immune from this. And all problems don't have solutions available at the same time. So when people communicate to me, I try my best. I give them advices. I do what is possible for me. But honestly, I hardly think about if It's going to help them. Now, when people tell me they have been helped, and sometimes they say their life has changed because I have seen a student writing to me or calling me or talking to me in 8, 9 years also. One girl from Australia told me that she completed her study of law, which I advised, and this she told me in 6, 7, 8 years. So these things, for a moment, gave me kind of emotional, like good emotion. Sometimes I feel, oh, I became a medium for someone's happiness. But remember, I don't brood much over it because I believe honestly it's not me because I don't know the person. I didn't know the person who caused the person to meet me, who gave me ideas to help him. It is unseen and unknown. So I just try to stay humble and not to brood much about what I have done to them, what happened to them. But a bit I feel sometimes good emotions, and sometimes also I feel surprised, and sometimes I try it doesn't work. Then I feel little bit. I still say God. If it doesn't work, it means I don't know or it's not meant to be. You know better. So in one word, I can say I try to stay humble without being affected in a positive way or negative way, like neutral. Okay? I would say I would try to keep myself neutral in ups and downs or good and bad feelings of what I have with people. This is how I would say. Honest answer, I would say.
Absolutely. What and a wonderful answer yet again. Thank
And
you.
one more point I would say, I hardly want people to praise me. I don't like my praise. I don't like I don't say I have hatred towards it. I don't want to hear somebody praising me. It feels like why? It's not needed. And when somebody condemns me, I haven't been able to overcome this. If somebody condemns me, I feel tough to face. But praise, I just say, it's fine. It's enough for me to hear my praise. Okay, it's loud.
Absolutely. Well, I must just say that the reason I said that is because I can feel the impact, the positive impact that you have on many people. I know, as you just said, you don't like the praise. So please take that for a moment briefly and then let it go. But it is actually true. As I said at the beginning, in the latter part of this talk now, in the last sort of 15 minutes or however long we have left, I would say, or slightly less. I would like to ask a couple of topics about yoga itself. And this one will be a very simple one for you, I think, but I think it is very, very relevant for people today, especially in, shall we say, the Western world. There's a lot of
Mm,
stress all around the world today. And that is the question, is stress management? Because I see a lot of people in my country where there's too much stress and it's damaging their minds, or sometimes because they have too much stress, they're then doing bad habits to try and cope with the stress. And
mm,
that is damaging their minds. Yeah,
mm.
maybe it's the same in India now, I don't know. But this is especially a question for people not that familiar with yoga or with meditation.
Mm.
But I would like to get your advice, please, on what they can do to feel a little bit healthier and happier and take some of that stress away, please.
You know, uh, I wouldn't say Western world or Eastern world.
Mm,
It's people,
everywhere.
and we have people everywhere of different mentality. We also have people in this Bharat
Mm,
of Western mentality, and we also have people in the West with Eastern mentality, Bharati mentality. Look, let's see. Yoga is not designed to de-stress somebody. It is our perception that we use yoga to de-stress. People have to know why do they live, for what they live, They must know one day they will die. Accumulation, achievement, ambitions are actually not that we are born to overcome or just to fulfill in the way we want. It's the way we have seen life. It's not the way the wisdom of life would always recommend. So when somebody is stressed, you don't have to keep the cause of stress and find a pills to distress yourself. So on the one hand, you keep yourself stressing. On the other hand, you buy a pill or get the tools of yoga to de-stress yourself. This is called like it's a stupid way. So in the Western world or so-called, other world, whatever you can say, we have to look upon our way of thinking, way of living. I have spent some time in Europe. I think around a year I have spent in Europe at different intervals. What I saw, and in this country, if you go to Mumbai, Delhi, also, what I saw, the system has created humans in a certain way that they have to think money as the most important thing. They are brainwashed by system that they have to work and work and work and make money and money and money to pay the bills. And if you don't work, you are the worst somebody in the world. This mindset is an evil that human society has developed. So if this doesn't change, yoga is not going to help you. And I make you funny statement. It's a bit contradictory. A person who is stress free, a person who is relaxed inside, only he can experience light of you. People who are stressed, people who are frustrated, for them, yoga is not the way to de-stress. It's a wrong concept which the teachers advocate, which the people make it like a selling point. It's going to USP. The selling point of USP is de-stressing, fitness, etc. That's not. We have gym for fitness. We go for running and horse riding. There are many things we can do. Yoga is not for fitness. Yoga is not for de-stressing. Of course, there are some tools like I take sometimes in a day 5 classes, 6 classes. It's overwork. Certain techniques keep you better, but I know that much work is unhealthy. You work late night and you expect early morning you do meditation and you will be calm. It's a very wrong concept. Sleep can't be substituted by meditation. Cannot. Sleep is sleep. Meditation is meditation. Both have different dimensions. You cannot substitute one with other. Okay. So what people can do first, they have to cultivate good thoughts. They are in the scriptures. They are not taught by politicians. They are not taught by municipal governments and their employers. Thought, and then accordingly they have to design their life. We should work certain hours for livelihood. And if human life is invested just for livelihood the whole day and whole night, it's a disgrace. So in my classes, when people ask about lifestyle, I say, look, work few hours to make money. Otherwise, you will become dependent and lazy. Work few hours for others, not for your partner, not for your child, for others who are in need. Spend few hours in recreation, relaxation, sleep on time, wake up on time, eat on time, live with conscious people. Try not to find fault in everything. And remember, life is not your wish and your decision. Life is life. You have to adjust and accommodate with how the current of life flows. Listen to everybody. Don't block anyone's mouth, but mentally process. If The words coming to you are healthy and helpful. There are many, many ways I discuss. Most important thing is how I do myself. And then it depends how my words are going to affect people's life. So I am trying to manage my life. I have discovered something. I have realized something. Similarly, I speak. But in the end of this answer, I would say yoga is not to de-stress. It is to keep yourself de-stressed, relaxed, and practice yoga for inner awakenings. This is my understanding.
I think that is wonderful, my friend. I think the reason why I say that, by the way, look, honestly, I'm discovering my spiritual path. It's a progress. I'm reading scriptures, I'm meditating every day, I do these various things. But also, you have to be careful where you look because even when we're talking about yoga here, yoga can be made into a commercial product in some instances in the wrong way. I understand this. I do understand this. And that is why when I connect with people like yourself to speak with them, I can tell when people are genuine from the energy, even with yourself, even sitting in your presence, I can feel it from the energy of how much you care about people and the humility and everything like this. And I would like to go deeper into that topic because when you're saying there that yoga is not to de stress, it's not for these reasons, what would you say if we go deeply into the true meaning of yoga? Now, this was not a question I had planned, you understand, but I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, well, we don't have that long and I don't want to take lots of your time because I know you're teaching class soon and you have things to do. So I thought, okay, it's a big question, and I don't want to put you in pressure to answer everything about life because, as you said earlier, you are learning about life. But I also respect the depth of your practice, the depth of your wisdom, and so forth. So that's my reason for asking that question. I also go with the questions that I feel here as well. It's not always the questions that are here, Sometimes I have the questions here, I think that's not relevant actually. We need to go. So I'm actually feeling the pull to talk about the real meaning of yoga, okay, in your own words, which you started to describe just now. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper into that topic. This might be the last question. If there's time for one more, maybe. But if this is the last one, then I think it will be a good one to close out with. Thank you.
Yeah. So, how would you put the question then?
The real meaning of yoga in your own words would be, I
Well,
suppose,
if yes, please, you can put the questions.
just that. I mean, if you had to um, strip away the misconceptions that people have and go right to the heart of this is what it means, because I see yogis and monks and spiritual practitioners, and they are the happiest, most joyful people that I've ever met in my life anywhere. Much happier than, rich people or famous people
Uh,
and anything like this. You understand this very well, more
yes.
more than me. So that I think is a clue maybe to the true meaning. But yes, let's go into the true meaning, please. Thank you.
Right. That's a very big question,
Yes.
which
True.
will have which will have a bigger answer.
Yes.
I have to make it concise and to the point because these questions can lead you to uh, different dimensions of answers. First, I would say don't misunderstand yogi and people in yoga or people in spiritual life are happy people. Happiness and unhappiness relate to both of them. This misconception again has to be changed. The difference between what you call yogi and people in spiritual life is they are proportionately less affected. They also feel happiness, they also feel temptations, but they know temptation as temptation, and they see unhappiness, happiness as unhappiness and happiness, but they know it is changing phenomenon. It doesn't last forever. They come, they go. Sometimes they come and they might stay longer. Sometimes until the whole life. When I say they go, they don't mean to get rid of them only in this life because they live in infinity. The concept is this: they believe they had life, they believe they have a life, they believe they may have also another life if the work is not done. That's how they believe. So, unhappiness, happiness for them is unhappiness and unhappiness, a changing phenomenon. This concept we have to first little bit adjust. They also feel pain. Read Vivekananda's life, read Swami Shivananda's life. I think Vivekanand, when he was in America, an enlightened yogi, his attack of asthma would be so powerful, he had to block his mouth to just overcome this coughing. Lower back pain would trouble him so much. His health was almost shattered. He felt the pain, but then he knew it is pain. I have to work with this. Instead of crying, they would deal with it smart. Like, you meet a difficult people and deal smartly. So these changing phenomena of life, when come to them, they deal smartly while crying, while laughing. So they're also laughing people and crying people. Look at this. Now, meaning of yoga, according to me, would be an egoistic answer. I'd go with the yogi. Different meanings of yoga have been given. One definition of yoga is cessation of all sufferings of life. Yogi see life as suffering. Suffering in what regard? You are Liam now. Look at your picture when you were 3 years, 4 years, and imagine your your presence in 20 years later, changing your beauty, your health, things that you had in life is constantly slipping away from your hands. You can't keep your age. Your friends, yesterday they were there, today they are no more. So all these things which you see changing, constantly moving around, and somehow you have no control over them. What do you think is going to be stable with you? And for what you are working so hard? The question is this. And then when people try to hold on to many things, live the way they want to do, and they can't, they have sufferings of various kinds. In yoga, there are four sufferings highly included, and they are called the biggest sufferings. First is birth. Birth itself is suffering. It's like a king who is put in the prison. Not in the prison means a palace, and the king is said you can't go out of this palace. It's a big palace. Suppose somebody tells you, Liam, you can't go out of England, the entire country will be prison for you because you are finding a block for you. You can't go to Germany, France, Belgium because you're blocked in England. So our idea of prison could be a prison of few inches, but prison is of many kinds. The body is a prison. You're an independent soul. You're locked in the body. So birth is a pain. And then old age. When you grow older, you become fully dependent. In old age, you are no more even able to walk properly. And you continue for so many years like this, dependent, asking helps. People are around you. And then disease. Steve Jobs had pancreatic cancer. Princess Diana had misfortune, like an accident. How much pain she had undergone. Martin Luther was shot. How much pain he might have undergone. Accidents or some fatal disease or some limitations in the body or mind that you get causes sufferings. And the one more suffering is death. One day we will die. One day everybody will die. So you have a palace and tomorrow you die. Why have you made the palace? So Even if you are very wise, even if you think you are very clever, at some point you will realize you have made the life as suffering and you suffer. Yoga is to overcome all sufferings of life. Ultimately, what happens? You realize who you are. You are not in this world to create palace, make a country great, win other nation, or make America or England great country, or make India great country. You are here, enlighten yourself. Enlighten means knowing yourself, your own true nature. So this is the perspective of you. And for that, we have to invest every minute of life. If not every minute, at least every day, few minutes. You have to invest. Consciously, we have to do it.
Yes, it makes sense. And it certainly sounds like awareness is such a key aspect. I can tell. I will continue to study. I have much more to do. But at the same time, I just hope that as I learn and grow, I can share that with other people who listen and we will go from there. I'm not an expert, but I'm just trying to be a better man today than I was yesterday, and
Yes.
that is all. But it's an interesting one that I wanted to close out with that because I think people will find it relatable only because, simply put, that was what drew me into, or that was part of what caused my awakening as part of it, not all of it, but just a realization there's something more because these people, as I was saying, okay, it's not happiness, let's say it's awareness, but the peace and the joy that they exude and feel, I just wanted to find out how that is possible, and then it went from there. I would like to thank you for your time, first of all, before we,
Yes.
because we have to finish now. I know you have to.
You can take one more question.
One more question. Okay.
But you can
More
take, you wish.
question.
If you had a question like you could ask, like you put another question. If you have extra question, you can ask one more question.
Okay, well, as we're talking about these things, as we're talking about awareness, as we're talking about self-awareness in particular, and as you were saying there, people recognize happiness, unhappiness, and so on. I've had these experiences of, well, like you were saying, if I look at a picture, the age of 4, 3, 4, the age to now, and
Mm,
everything, of moving beyond my sense of self for periods of time, not long periods of time, but like I'm watching myself and like I'm aware that, being Liam, if you like, is not really me. There's another
mm,
me, there's the real me, if you like, watching my thoughts, watching my actions, and then choosing how to respond. And I get it for a period of time, then I lose it, and you get
mhm,
caught up in day to day and things. So I suppose my question, and I'm going with the feeling of this one again. So to articulate it to you, to make it concise, I suppose I'm asking the role of the ego and how people begin to transcend that. But I suppose I'm also asking that experience that I have where I feel like I'm watching myself, and it's like the Liam is like almost a puppet, and in
mm,
many ways I'm above it or distant from it. I'm still involved in life. I'm not
mm,
sure if it makes sense, but I'd be curious to go into that experience a little bit deeper because
mm,
that was also one of the things that inspired me to follow the spiritual path. What is this? I didn't ask for this. Once, when I was a bit younger, I was very involved in the ego, the material world, the
mm,
things. It's true. But I started to realize, okay, this sense of self is not, let's just say, what we are taught it is when we're growing up by a lot of people. So I suppose the easiest way to explain that is the role of the ego, some people say, or the role of the self, the sense of self, and how people transcend that and realize that actually we are all connected. And I've started to have that realization, but it's still developing, it's still in progress. What is that? And how can people tap into that? Is this question making sense? Because I'm going with the feeling, so it's not something I thought of, oh,
mm.
I want to ask this. But I knew that the ego concept would emerge in our talk at some point. I felt that. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit, and then I know you have to go then, but this,
Are you talking about that you become aware of yourself, right?
yes, I
Yeah.
become aware
What
of,
is that? What is
yes,
that, right?
yes.
Look, look. You might have heard about the word mind.
Mm,
In yoga, we look at human existence or any existence with uh, at different levels. Like I am here with my body. I'm talking to you. So in general, we think me as body. But if you go back in this theory of creation, it has several components. Body that I have is a tool, external tool. My mouth is articulating the thought which I have in the mind. It's a part of another body. And these thoughts also are built on certain perceptions. Like my eyes saw you, I heard your questions, then I had thoughts about it. Now my mouth is articulating. So mouth is not me, ears are not me, eyes are not me. They are my tools. Now, deep inside, who am I? That is the finding you have to do. But when you say you become aware of yourself, it is part of human mind. And mind is just not mind. In yoga, there is a classical word called antahkaran, Sanskrit word antahkaran. It means inner mechanism, inner tools. Antahkaran has four work, and according to four work, Antahkaran has four names. It's like one person performs the job of prime minister, home minister, and defense minister. So he has three designations for the same person. So Antahkaran can perform four activities. One of them is collecting experiences, like mind, like you think about something. Okay, should I eat? Should I not eat? This sankalp and vikalp, this like thoughts and contrary thoughts immediately. Should I go for interview? Should I not? This is part of mind. Now there is another word called intelligence. Intelligence makes a decision. Yes, I should eat, or I will not eat. I will eat in the evening. I will go for interview, or I will not. I have made decision about it. It's a part of intelligence. Then is ego. I have to go for interview. I have prepared myself. The concept of the decision to go for interview has made me act and react in a certain way. Dressing up, setting computer, combing my hair, making myself organized is part of ego. Ego asserts. Ego begins to make you act accordingly the way you have the experience. And the fourth one is called consciousness. And they all have four words. Like for mind, the word is manas. Buddhi is called intelligence. Ego is called ahankar. And what I have used the word last word consciousness, it is called chit. So when you think, you become aware of yours, it is chit. So this consciousness controls all the experiences. Like I met you, tomorrow if I ask you, what did we talk, you will tell me. I remember it. So memorizing things, keeping a storing of all the informations which you have received, concentration, deep reflection, pondering over things, becoming aware of something, they are the part of consciousness. So when you think, you become aware of yourself as body or as Liam, is part of consciousness. And that is not the end. It is just different roles of Antakaran. Remember, you are not Antakaran. Behind these all four is soul, power of soul. Soul is called Atman in Sanskrit. So Atman enlightens Antakaran. mind, intellect, ego, and consciousness. They enlighten the senses. Accordingly, body feels enlightened. The body has no light of its own. But because of ignorance, because we do not know, we have been conditioned. So we think body as the truth. Are you getting my point? So consciousness that you are talking about is that which makes you aware of something, which lets you remember things, which lets you think deep about something, like concentration, meditation. It's all part of consciousness. That is how in yoga we discuss about it.
It makes a lot of sense. I must say, I will listen to this back and make some notes as well, some extra notes. But it makes
Thank
a
you.
lot of sense because it's not just relevant to me, it's experience I had that I think is relevant
Yes.
to other people as well. But I'm learning and I've had this experience spontaneously of
Yeah.
feeling so much bigger than myself. So it's good to understand what it is. Anyway, my friend, I know you teach now, so you have to do your class. And I know there's so many more things that we could talk about, but I hope with this that it just encourages people to think a little bit differently, to feel a little bit differently, to ask questions. Why am I doing this? Why am I
Yeah.
doing that? Is this the best way to do it? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
to people you have to follow this path or this path. I'm just saying to people maybe there's a different path. I'm still discovering my path, and maybe some other people will listen to this and think, you know what, maybe there's a different path. I will also say before you go to all of our viewers and listeners, anybody who wants to learn more about yoga, please contact Rohit. He's a very open and accessible individual, so you can learn directly. If you've listened to this and you've enjoyed it, you can learn directly. So please contact him. He's out there and very accessible. I just wanted to say that, my friend, because I know some people will want
Yeah.
to connect with you. Thank you so, so much for sharing your time, sharing your presence, and being so open about your life and about some of your teachings. I'm very grateful for that. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liam, so much. Have a nice. Thank you.
Yes. Namaste. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.